Community Pre-Meeting on Disaster Preparedness and Climate Resilience Documentary, 23 December 2019. Climate change has had a lot of devastating effects on the environment and humanity. In March 2019, the three Southern African countries, namely Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Mozambique, were hit by a tragedy that left everyone amused. Due to the huge impacts and damage left as a result of the cyclones Idai and Kenneth in the Southern African states of Malawi, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique, 14 March 2019 remains a day that can never be forgotten, as it took the lives of many and destroyed the livelihoods of the citizens of the said three countries, with Malawi having been the least affected country. In light of this, a network of partnering regional and national civil society organizations, which includes the Southern Africa Trust, Action Aid International, SADC CNGO, Plan RESA, Oxfam, Southern Africa Youth Forum SADC, Amnesty International, and the National Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, NANGO, committed itself to convene a joint stakeholder dialogue with representatives of the affected communities and areas in order to rethink the disaster preparedness of SADC member states and how to develop an improved resilience against the effects of climate change in the form of a 3-day regional workshop. The tropical cyclones Idai and Kenneth are regarded as the two of the worst tropical cyclones on record to affect Africa and the Southern Hemisphere. The cyclones caused catastrophic damage in Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Malawi, leaving more than 1,300 people dead and many more missing. It is under this backdrop that the pre-meeting on disaster preparedness and climate resilience, which brought together community representatives from the affected communities and representatives of the organizing organizations in Zimbabwe and Malawi, was convened at the pre-meeting in Mutare, Manicaland Province, and the community visit was done to Chimanimani District on 23 December 2019 as part of preparations for the 3-day regional workshop. The 10-member delegation from Malawi traveled more than 2,000 kilometers from Nsanje and Palombe districts, and about 16 representatives from Zimbabwe and partners attending the pre-meeting in Mutare before proceeding for the community visits in Chimanimani. It was a touching moment to discuss, share, and to listen to real community experiences as the people from Malawi and Zimbabwe shared their experiences during Cyclone Idai. They noted that communities, local, national, and regional governments were ill-prepared and unable to provide urgent protection to the most vulnerable social groups. More than 3 million people were affected, out of which 1.85 million people were in Mozambique.
We don't have good modes of transport.
Okay.
So when the support comes in, the support didn't decide what to do with our youths. They don't support us. They have to support us with the good modes of transport because we use bridges to go to school, so the bridges washed away.
Accommodation of the people that were left homeless. But some are staying in the houses that are cracked, of which it's also a dilemma to them on how they are going to survive when the accommodation which has got some cracks. The cracks sometimes you would wonder how they are living in those houses. Then the other thing is the elderly people. Who are very vulnerable. They are the ones now taking care of the orphans that have been left by their parents, or some of the people who died during the cyclone when they were taken.
In our district is border to Mozambique. Now, when disaster hits, our women could have crossed the border to Mozambique to fetch for firewood, so that they can sell or they can use it. And during the crossing, they could meet these soldiers from Mozambique at the border post. They could have detained them. Otherwise, they could have asked them to lie down on the floor and whip them. Sometimes to have sex with them in exchange for their freedom. Yes, which is so pathetic. Yeah.
Apart from these challenges, the delegates also discussed solutions and recommendations. After the workshop in Mutare, the team went to Chimanimani, which is about 200 kilometers from Mutare. The delegation's first stop was at St. Charles Luanga Seminary and Secondary School, where the school dining block was destroyed by the cyclone and children were reported dead. The delegation also proceeded to Ngangu community in Chimanimani, where some members are still living in camps almost 1 year after the disaster. Some of the community members at Ngangu had this to say.
Iri kubuda pasi kutubuka imwe icherera zvichibve kugomo uku zvichidzika zvakadai. Saka dzimba dziri apo pakafa vana 4. 1 ndiye wakaoneka, 3 haana kuoneka. Pamusoro pacho apo pochofa vana 3 vese vakaoneka. Nechepazasi pochofa 3, 2 vakaoneka. Vamwe vacho vakakuwara. Panext door pedu apo pane board apo vakatorwa mai vakazorasirwe kuzasi uku, asi vakakuwara. Then apo pochofa 1 baba, vamwe vacho vakatiza kuende kusaidi uko. Wakanga uye kude kununudza ipapo apo vanozi baba hamudi, vakabva vafa vakatorwa nemvura vachide kudibetsera. Then pamberi apo pakafe mukadzi waticha waMr Mandirawe wakashaika ipapo, yobva yadzika yakadai. Kuzasi uko akatorwa zvomweni, neche apa hapana akashaika. Asi pamberi apo pamufuri pakashaika mukomana musikana waizi More Blessing, More Faith. Amwe acho akafe pasaidhi reapo haana kuoneka. Pane muzukuru wangu wakatorerwa na 4, 2 wakaoneka, 2 haasati aonekana nhasi. Nechepazasi apo yakangozokupe dzimba ichienda nadzo. Vanhu vazhinji vanga vatiza, asi kutiza kwavaita vanga vasingazichi direction kuti totizire side ripi. Saka zvakaenda koafekta anhu azhinji noti zvakaita usiku. Dai zvakaita masikati maybe munhu waiona kuti mvura iri kubva ngeino odai. Noti chaiti uko yakatorwa futi tikaenda pamarufu pakashaike mwana 1 wakatorwa pamaona pamberi apo.
Okay.
Kwozouye paChimonya pakafe vana 2. 1 wacho wakazooneka ari pa next door pomwe pamachingauta, asi wanga atofa ane wiki aripo. Vazhinji vakakuwara vakaiswa kuchipatara, ndoko vakarapirwa. Vamwe vakaiswa kuChipinge, vamwe vakaiswa kwaMutambara, asi vaitotakurwa nendege because road ranga risingatombofambi.
The visit to Chimanimani showed that a lot needs to be done by both governments in the Southern Africa Development Community (SADC), regional organizations, civil society organizations, churches, communities, among others, to combat climate change and enhance disaster preparedness. After the touching process, the delegation from Malawi had to travel back 2,000 kilometers with more zeal to finalize solution-oriented approaches at the upcoming regional conference.